But we begin with Mr. Biden's return to Washington after wrapping up his first trip to Asia as president. The final day included a summit with Indo-Pacific leaders about Russia's war on Ukraine and the growing threat from China. CBS News' Skyler Henry has more.
At the same time, we're navigating a dark hour in our shared history.
President Biden met with the leaders of Australia, Japan, and India and said global security is threatened by Russia's attack on Ukraine.
Putin is just trying to extinguish a culture. He's not even aiming at military targets anymore. He's taking out every school, every church, every natural history museum. The world has to deal with it, and we are.
India stands alone among the Quad members, remaining neutral in Russia's war in Ukraine. And the president would not say whether he asked the prime minister to take a harder stance against Russia. But all four members say they cannot allow the same thing to happen in the Indo-Pacific.
The fundamental principles of international order, territorial integrity and sovereignty, international law, human rights, must always be defended, regardless of where they're violated in the world.
President Biden made international headlines Monday when he said the U.S. would provide military support for Taiwan if China invaded. The president insisted Tuesday that his comments were in line with standing U.S. policy.
Our policy has not changed at all. I stated that when I made my statement yesterday.
The U.S. has maintained a policy of strategic ambiguity, reserving the right to use force without explicitly committing to do so.
Mr. President, is the policy of strategic ambiguity towards Taiwan dead?
No.
While the meeting was taking place, Russian and Chinese fighter jets conducted military exercises over the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea. Now, China has rebuked President Biden's comments, saying Taiwan is a part of Chinese territory and it doesn't allow foreign correspondence and interference in domestic affairs. Tanya?
So, Skyler, as you know, President Biden said the U.S. would intervene militarily if China invades Taiwan. Those comments have caused a lot of discussion around the world. How is the White House walking back the president's statements, or is it? And how has China responded?
Right. Well, you know, the White House essentially is saying that this is standing U.S. policy, given that, you know, there's strategic ambiguity in the fact that the U.S. can step in militarily if it chooses to do so. The president has responded, sticking to his comments that he put out yesterday, ultimately saying that he doesn't feel as if China would follow, for example, what Russia is doing in Ukraine in terms of aggression into Taiwan. The U.S. also saying that they would continue to support Taiwan militarily, not necessarily with boots on the ground, but perhaps with weapons and other firepower similar to what we're seeing in Ukraine. It is interesting, given that we're seeing sort of this walk back, as you mentioned, from the White House. We know that a top Chinese spokesperson is urging the president to refrain from using this sort of language, perhaps to incite any sort of separatist groups that may be in Taiwan. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out moving forward, what we see in the days ahead, especially given the fact that we did see those jets flying in that region in between the two countries.
Yeah, all right. Well, Skyler Henry at the White House, thank you so much.
You got it.